Big time change of plans. Big time change of plans that affects not only me, but it definitely affects you this morning. That is for sure. It's going to affect you. It affects the experience. It affects our conversation. It affects pretty much everything. Everything gets affected this morning. I mean, we're not talking like catastrophic, nothing dramatic, right? Like it's not affecting our relationship with the Father, right? Like that's what's happening. But definitely a change of plans this morning. A little domino effect action, and to be honest, I don't even really know. Like I still don't quite know or understand why there's been a change of plans. I don't know or understand how there's been a change of plans. I just know that there's a change of plan, and we're gonna roll with it. So let's dive into today's episode of #Rise and Grind. Let's go. Good morning and welcome to #Rise and Grind, the #1 morning show in the world filled with motivation, education, and inspiration. I am your host, Glenn Lundy, husband to 1, father to 8, and the founder of the 800% Club, the club designed to help you unlock your full potential. Each episode is filled with celebrity interviews, inspiring conversations, and the strategies you need to get ahead in your career and your life. So grab your pen and turn up the volume because it's time to rise and grind. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Monday. Monday? Yeah. Today is Monday, November 3rd. Take note of that. Right out the gate, take note. Today is Monday, November 3rd, 2025. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Monday, November 3rd, 2025. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible day. I'm coming to you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Yeah, can you believe it? Coming to you live from Lexington, Kentucky, where it is 38 degrees this morning. The great news is, 38 is chilly, but 38's not like, as long as you ain't got to be in it for too very long, like it's not like bone crushing cold, if you know what I mean. 38 is chilly, but the good news is 38 is the coldest that it's supposed to be this week. We're actually supposed to have some temperatures jump up into the low 60s later in the week, so I'm super excited about that as well. But this morning is very interesting because it is 38 degrees outside, and I got up this morning. The time change definitely helps this time of the year, right? When you fall back, you get that extra hour. So I got up this morning 3:50. Yeah, I got up this morning at 3:50 and grabbed my glass of water, came downstairs, wrote down my gratitude and goals, did my daily devotional, and then I wrote the words good morning, and then I wrote out my entire show, which we are supposed to be launching a new series this week. We're supposed to be launching a new series this week called The Legacy Titles, where we kind of break down my book, The Legacy Titles, 12 Proven Principles to Grow Your Business 800%. But not just breaking down like the principles in the book themselves, which only apply really, I don't want to say only apply, but primarily apply to business, but also breaking down the journey of what it's like to write your own book, breaking down the journey of what stories play in our minds and in our hearts as we go through a season of writing a book, the importance of stories, etc., etc. So that was great. So I wrote today's episode, and then I went in and I used my my auto start. Do you guys have auto start on your car? I used my auto start and I started up my Toyota Tundra that I have and ran it. And then I always do 2 cycles of auto start, bro. When it's 38 degrees outside, 2 cycles of auto start. First cycle, 10 minutes long, kind of gets the dust off. Next cycle, another 10 minutes long. Now we're talking, right? Now we are like little pieces of bread climbing into the toaster. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of heat that I like. Just enough to put like a little singe on your skin, right? And get you going. So jumped in the truck this morning, nice and warm and toasty. And I jumped in the truck this morning and drove over to our new offices. So our new offices are about 15 minutes from the house. We are on the 4th floor of the Central Bank building in Lexington, Kentucky, AKA it's also known as the Elder Law building. It depends on which side you come on. One side it's Elder Law, the other side it's Central Bank. And so, what's up, Justin? Gotta go. So got up this morning, 3:50 a.m., wrote down my gratitude, wrote down my goals, wrote a show right here on my remarkable tablet, wrote a show, jumped in the vehicle, right, did my devotional, did all my stuff, jumped in the vehicle, drove to the studio. It's 38 degrees outside, warm and toasty in my truck, drove to the studio, grabbed my backpack, like I do every morning, walked up to the doors of the Elder Law building / Central Bank building where our offices are on the 4th floor, and I went up to the little fob thing to scan in, and nothing happened. Like nothing. Like it didn't like try to scan it and say something's wrong, like nothing, just red light, red light, red light. And the only way to get into the building is with those fobs. Like they don't give us keys to the building itself. We have keys to our offices, but the only way to get in the building is through those doors with the fobs. So I'm like, okay, all right, I see what's going on here. So then I'm running through my head, maybe the time change affected something, but that doesn't make sense because it would actually be an hour later, not an hour earlier. And then I thought, well, maybe it's the cold because it's 38 degrees outside. Maybe that's affecting something, which seems odd that that would affect the sensor. I mean, it's not like it's freezing outside, it's just mildly cold. And so I got back in the truck, drove around to the other side of the building and tried fobbing in there. Same experience. It's not even trying to scan the fob. It's like the fob doesn't even exist. Didn't even know the fob was there, right? Like there ain't nothing happening. Nothing was getting triggered. And so I was like, okay. All right, change of plans, because you know I get to the studio right at 5, and then I build the show, right? Whenever you guys watch my show, you guys know there's like B-roll and different video clips and things that I do when I do a full production, so on and so forth, right? And so that takes me about half hour to build the show each morning. And so when I got to the studio and I couldn't get in, then it was like, okay, it was right at 5 a.m. Now, I am also currently in the process of helping my daughter build a healthy morning routine habit. I use the word healthy loosely because the way that I have inspired her to start going down this journey is I asked her what was one thing that if she had every single morning, it would excite her to get up every day. And she told me the one thing that she wanted every single morning was a pink drink from Starbucks. And so for the last month, what I have been doing is after my show at 6 o'clock, then I've been going to Starbucks, getting a pink drink, bringing that back home, and waking her up at 7. So I left the office. I went ahead and stopped at Starbucks, picked up my daughter's pink drink for the morning, drove back here to the house, whereas I got here at 5:25, came downstairs. Here I am in the basement at my house. Now, what does that mean? It means all of our production time today was spent driving around in a truck in 38-degree weather to an office that I couldn't get into, and now I'm back home. So just a fun little 30-minute loop. But I did get my daughter's pink drink, which, by the way, man, she has been on it. So I've been waking her up every day at 7 o'clock. She comes downstairs at 7:15, and from 7:15 to 7:45, her and I work on her schoolwork. And the reason we put this in place is she's been struggling as a 16-year-old. She's been struggling to balance She's been struggling to balance boys, school, activities like dance, etc. and whatnot. She's just been struggling to kind of balance it all. So I was like, honey, we got to change the way you start your day, because if you change the way you start your day, it makes a massive impact in your life. And so we invest the first 30 minutes together every single day. And sometimes it's biology, sometimes it's math, sometimes it's whatever that she's working on. But ultimately, it's just presence. And we're teaching this new habit, right? This early morning routine habit. She's never had to have that. My kids are homeschooled. They don't start school till 9 o'clock on most days. So she's never had to have it. Never had to have it, if that makes sense. So anyways, all of that to say, this morning we were supposed to be launching this series. Liza said she got sidetracked on her run and almost forgot to tune in. That's awesome. Marilyn Wilkin went out there and got her. See, tagging folks works, bro. Tagging folks helps, man. People are busy. People are doing life. People got a lot of things going on, man. So when you tag your friends, when you do all of that, it makes a difference. So anyways, long story short is we had a full production. We were launching a new series, the legacy titles. Everything was ready to go. I just couldn't get into my office. And so I had to turn around and drive back home. And I luckily got home just in time to be able to start this show on time, but without production. So today is Monday, November 3rd, 2025. Do not lose sight of that. When a month starts on a weekend, unless you're in the car business where Saturdays are a big deal, when a month starts on a weekend, we can lose 2 days just like that, right? Like it's already November 3rd. Crazy. There are 58 days left in this year. 58 days, that's all you got. And in those 58 days, you're talking all kinds of crazy stuff. I'll give you an example. Here in the Lundy house, we're headed into a fun week. So I have been in this 90-day unrecognizable challenge for 32 days now, I guess it is. I have been in the unrecognizable challenge. A lot of you that are watching this show have been a part of that challenge as well. So we are 32 days into that, 58 days left to go on the 90-day challenge. Part of that has been doing a daily devotion for me, not everyone. Everyone's challenge is different. But for me, it's been doing a daily devotion and really prioritizing my kids and my relationship with God. I can tell you in 32 days of doing that, my relationships with my children have definitely shifted, and my relationship with God is definitely starting to deepen. Still not it's not where I want it to be. I don't know if daily devotions are gonna work for me as far as, I just feel like I wanna get closer and it's not letting me get close enough. If you've been participating in the 90-day challenge, by the way, drop it in the chat. I'd love to see that. I'm sure other people would as well. And so over the next week, obviously there's the 90-day challenge piece that continues. There's the daily devotions that continues. There's prioritizing my kiddos as I'm also trying to run this business, as I'm also trying to deliver this message and do this show and so on and so forth, right? This week, we have some new 800% Club members that have joined 800% Club that I'm super excited about. One, I will be visiting this week in their dealership, so that's going to be awesome. We've also got, I'm speaking at a NADA 20 group, National Automobile Dealer Association. They have these 20 groups where they bring together dealers roughly same shape and size, same brand and same regions, and they bring them together for education. Every once in a while I get invited to one of those. It's always an honor. It's an amazing day. One day where I failed and learned, but every other day meeting my 90-day challenge commitments. That's what's up, Liza. Way to go, way to go, way to go. And so I'm speaking at a 20 group this week in Chicago, which I'm super excited about. We've also got Oakland, my 6-year-old. She'll be 7 years old this week on Wednesday. Remember the 5th of November. And then we've got her birthday party on the 7th. We're also launching 2 new partnerships in 800% Club. We've partnered with 2 amazing companies. So super excited to launch those this week. And then we've also been, this week, we are cementing our current relationships with some of our other partners that we've had for years. As we get down to the end of the year, we cement those in for next year. And then we're also prepping for our December 9th and 10th event. So December 9th and 10th, for anyone who is in sales, this will be heavily automotive pointed, but ultimately sales principles apply across the board. So we are having a free event in Lexington, Kentucky, December 9th and 10th. It is a 2-day 2026 Sales Accelerator in-person only event in Lexington, Kentucky. December 9th and 10th, free 2026 Sales Accelerator. So if you are in sales or you lead a team of people that are in sales, send them to my offices. I'll make sure that we can get in. Send them to my offices December 9th and 10th, 2026 Sales Accelerator event. The purpose is to get the teams doing the things now that ultimately are going to benefit in 2026. Not waiting till January 1st, not as some sort of New Year's resolution, but giving them the skills and planting the seeds for a big 2026. So you can go to glennlundy.com/upcoming-events. glennlundy.com/upcoming-events and register for that event. Completely free for salespeople, in person only, no virtual option, December 9th and 10th in Lexington, Kentucky. Anyone who sales that wants to join, come join us. So we've got that going on. We also have Morning 5 planners that will get launched on Black Friday. So we're in the process doing those. And then of course, it's a new month, 58 days until the new year. This particular season moving forward gets really, really busy. I, on my side, try to reduce my travel in November and December because it does get so intense around the office and at home. And then you add in, of course, all of the holidays on top of all of that. Like, it's a busy season. And because of that, it is super upcoming dash events. glennlundy.com/upcoming dash. You have to put a little dash in there, events. Or you can just go to glennlundy.com and click on the menu at the top, and you can find it that way. So it gets busy this time of year for us, and I'm assuming for you as well. And because of that, it is super important that you and I get laser focused. It is super important that you and I get ridiculously organized for this big push that we need to do before 2026 hits. Super important. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. Before we do, though, you know what we got to do on this show? That's right, we got to do some dancing, folks. We got to do some dancing, because an object in motion stays in motion. An object at rest stays at rest. So let's get going this morning. If you're out on a run, you got about 90 seconds. 90 seconds left in this song. I want you to pick up the pace for the next 90 seconds. Maybe you're lifting weights right now. Give it some extra reps. Let's go. 90 seconds, 90 seconds, 90 seconds. Maybe you're overseas. Maybe you're overseas and it's later in the day. You're at work right now. Get up out of your office. Get up out of your cubicle. Go do some dancing. Just get your body in motion. So incredibly important. Object in motion stays in motion. Object at rest stays at rest. So we absolutely have to get moving, okay? This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up, and I will say what's up back. And last but not least, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right, I need you to hit that share button, because I believe if we can help people change the way they start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. This is why I invest in my son every single morning, working with him on his soccer drills. This is why I invest in my daughter, working with her every day on her school and bringing her pink drinks. This is why I do this show every day, Monday through Friday, 5:30 a.m. Eastern time, bringing motivation, education, and inspiration to the world. If you change the way you start your day, it makes a massive impact on this planet. All right, you say good morning to me, and I'll say good morning to you. Kimberly Hatfield, good morning. Thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Mike Larkin is in the building. Tosh Queen, thanks for being here. Sol Salcido ran the New York City Marathon yesterday. Sol, I would love to hear how your marathon went in New York City yesterday. What a treat. What a gift you gave to yourself. What a memory. Absolutely incredible. Marilyn Wilkin, good morning. Sarah Green, good morning. Kat Perez and Denny Rust, thanks for being here this morning. Spencer Nicholson, what's up, Spencer? Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Antonio Barbosa is in the building. Rodney Rock Hatfield is in the building. Bella Rigby, Maria Lynn, Tony Thorstad, Jeremy Nowling. What's up, Jeremy Nowling? Great to see you, man. Russell Hill is in the building as well. Oh, congrats, Jeremy Nowling. New dealership, Indy Honda grand opening, which I thought you guys had an Indy Honda. Maybe this is another Indy Honda. Maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe it's a glitch in the Matrix or a Mandela effect, but I could have sworn you guys had the Indy Honda. I could have sworn. Marilyn Wilkin, good morning. Thanks for being here. Tasha Rollins, thanks for being in the building. Lisa Cook Bourne, West Storm, Kat Perez, she did 25 jumping jacks. Malika Star Carey is in the building. Rich Pintrick is in the building. Mike Overfelt, what's up, Mr. Overfelt? Great to see you, sir. We've got Patricia Frudenberg in the building as well. Ramon Ray, my guy, Ramon posted a picture, it was him and another guy, and it said, future billionaire and current billionaire. And all I could think is, which one's which, Ramon? Which one's rich? Because you can't tell the difference between either one of you guys. Scott Simons is in the building. How you doing, Scott Simons? April Johnson is in the building. Thanks for being here, April. Valerie Stone is in the building. Thank you for being here, Valerie Stone. Okay, cool. Sol Salcido, yeah, she had to be shining, man. She's a bright ray of sunshine. How you doing, Frank Heck? Thanks for being here, sir. Good to see you. Frank Heck is one of our newer members in 800% Club. Great to see you, Frank. All right, so check it out. Today we had to pivot a little bit. We don't have full production. I drove to my office. I couldn't get in. The fobs don't work, so I drove back home. But this week's theme is the legacy titles. 12 proven principles to grow your business 800%. And this is a book that I wrote that I launched Super Bowl Sunday. This has been 2 Super Bowls already. Yeah, it's been 2. Launched on Super Bowl Sunday, two Super Bowls ago. And basically you have 12 proven principles to grow your business 800% that I wrote about in this book. The 12 principles are as follows. The first principle is the morning 5 simple steps to an extraordinary life. The second principle is to focus on your goals, not the goals set by others. The third principle is to promote from within. So incredibly important. The fourth principle is the 8531 formula. This is a very specific formula that guarantees scalable results. The fifth principle is to make people feel special, feel important, and like they're the only one. The sixth principle is to build a family, not just a business. The seventh principle is to be a servant leader, which most people don't even know what that really means. I hear people tell me all the time, I would do anything for anyone. I've got an open door policy, and they think that's servant leadership. It's not. Servant leadership means that you seek opportunities to serve, That means you go out of your office and go look for opportunities to serve. It means that you are proactive in service, not reactive in service. The 8th principle is the attitude of gratitude. The 9th principle is to hire and fire on character, not credentials. The 10th principle is to read together. Teams that read together lead together. The 11th principle is to walk the walk. Don't be all lip smack. Embody the things that you teach others to do. Walk the walk. And the 12th principle is teach on life skills, not just job skills. So these are our 12 principles. I gave them all to you real quick because we'll break them up throughout the week. We'll dive into each of these principles in depth, but there's all 12. So a little bit of a spoiler alert. I probably should have gave the spoiler alert before I gave 12, but there are all 12. And over the next 5 days, well now 4 days because we had to pivot this morning, over the next 4 days, we're gonna dive deep into each of those principles. But also this week, I wanna talk about the journey. I wanna talk about the journey of writing a book. You know, writing this book was one of the more challenging and rewarding things that I've ever done when it comes to business. It's also been one of the most impactful things for my business as we've now distributed just over, I guess it's just over 9,000 copies of the book. Over 9,000 copies of the book, paperback wise, and then we've also had thousands of downloads of the audiobook. So it's been super impactful as far as I know there's some people that carry around the legacy titles, literally carry it around in their briefcase or carry it around in their purse. It's amazing. So I want to talk about that as well. We'll talk about the principles, but I also want to talk about the journey of writing the book. And then I also want to talk about, what's up, Julio Soto, my man. I also want to talk about the relationships created in the process of writing the book and then in distribution of the book. Because I think a lot of times we just think, oh, it's a book. Yeah, somebody wrote a book, whatever. But we forget about the human connection required in order to write a book and distribute a book. Thank you, Mary Lynn. Also this week, I want to talk about like the takeaways and insights, not just about writing a book, but around telling your story. This morning, as I was writing, right here on my Remarkable tab, I wrote a quote that I personally really love, and that sounds weird because it's my own quote. It just came out of my head this morning. But you see, a book is just words on paper. That is, until you show up. I like that. I like how that sounds. And I like the truth behind it. You see, what makes books so powerful, even though here we are in this technologically advanced world where everything's digital and so on and so forth, what makes a book so powerful and why they've been able to transcend thousands of years of evolution is because the book directly connects two humans. And one human is writing that book from a certain perspective that they're trying to get they're trying to paint that picture for the other person. And then the other person is reading that book from their perspective. And every person who reads the book gets a different experience. The writer gets one experience, their perspective. When they read the book, they see the same pictures. But every reader gets a different experience. And see, this is why telling your story is so important. You see, I think that Many of us think our stories are boring, or many of us think that our stories aren't impactful, or many of us think that our stories don't have value, but that's ultimately because your story is your story. It can only be seen through your lens. Whereas we can take any story and send it out into the universe, and 8 billion people, however many people exist on this planet, 8 billion people can experience something different through your story. A book is just words on paper until you show up. So cool. So this week we'll go on that journey. We'll break down these principles. We'll talk about what it's like writing a book. But most importantly, because I don't want anyone to think, oh, we're breaking down the legacy titles and this is business, da da da. I don't want anyone to think that this is not of value to them. Because most importantly, what we're going to talk about this week is you and your story, and how ultimately I believe you should bring it to life. Because friends, you and I are children of God, the God of the universe, the God that made everything. And that God made us to be the absolute best versions of ourselves that we could possibly be. Not average versions, not a little bit below average or a little bit above, but the absolute best versions of ourselves so that we could possibly be. That I know, and I believe that that is true, because when we become the best versions of ourselves we can possibly be, it makes a generational impact on others. This lifetime is not about you. It's about the impact you can make in other people's lives. So this is why it's so important that you be reminded that your story is an integral part of the overall choreography that makes up this thing called life. And if you can muster up the courage, if you can invest the time, effort, and energy to share your story, even to just one other person, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. All right, friends, we're going to dive into that later this week. Thanks for hanging with me as we had to pivot today, because I could not get into my office once I arrived. We had to do a little bit of a pivot. So thanks for allowing me to pivot with you. Thanks for doing life with me. I greatly appreciate it. My life would not be the same if it weren't for you. That is a fact. Have an amazing, amazing, amazing kickoff to November this year. And I'll see you tomorrow morning, hopefully from my studio at 5:30 a.m. Have a great day.
It's 5:30 a.m. and the world's awake. Glenn Lundy in the house, no time to break. Husband to one, father to nine. This is the anthem, this is the grind. Let's go, rise and grind every single day. 5:30 in the morning, Glenn's leading the way. Husband
Martin Luther King.
Host of the show, man, it's time to shine. Rise and grind, keep the fire alive. Motivation daily, we all gon' thrive. From the stage to the mic, he's one of a kind. This is the anthem, rise and grind. Before the sunrise, he's sparking the flame. Millions inspired, remember the name. Faith, family, future, he's leading with love, dropping daily wisdom.